Welcome back to the fabulous TexVegas podcast here on YouTube and the audio version on Spotify, TuneIn Radio, all those places that you can tune in to get the audio, Podbean. But we're sitting around we've been talking about a lot of things in the evening, British politics and whatnot, but we decided to sit down. We have weird taste, people. I'm just throwing
British
it out.
Politics is not weird taste.
Look, you just can't watch The Crown. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we decided it's time to sit down because we are upcoming. Our travel plans have been made. We have the airline booked. We have the plans have been made.
Yes.
We're on our way to Vegas, and so
We're so ready.
This is our Vegas trip preview show, and the reason we're doing a preview show is because this channel didn't happen by accident. We've actually been working on trying to come up with the concept for this channel, because what we're going to do is we're going to vlog our Vegas trip. Now, not an original concept. There are some really great YouTube Vegas bloggers out there that do a great job. We just hope that we can hold a candle to that. But why not us is the question we ask, because we have a generally fun time when we're there.
Generally.
Yeah.
As you've heard in these previous podcasts where we talk about, Jeff getting drunk on a plane or,
Some of our most memorable stories happen in Vegas.
So we want to take you along on the journey with us. So this is kind of the precursor to the trip. As you're hearing this, we're not too far away from leaving. And I do have to drop right here is when we're in Las Vegas, the 6th through the 12th of December, we're going to go live on YouTube every night while we were there.
What happens in Vegas gets blasted out on the internet.
It's true, though.
We can't have it any other way. So, 4 Pacific, 6 Central, 7 Eastern. It's official, so now if we don't get on at 4 Pacific, I'm blaming Jeff.
I don't know. Did we have to go with an official time? I don't
4
feel so formative to me.
4 Pacific is right before we're getting ready to go out on the town and go and play or have dinner reservations. So a good 20-minute chunk there is we're about ready to go out on the town. It's a good time. And plus, it's more people are available to log on.
I'll try to clear my schedule.
If not, we'll catch you while you're in the bathroom, like fixing your face or something.
There you go. Exactly.
And we're going to use your phone to do it because you shoot 4K video. So there we go.
The fancy phone.
We're calling it, well, we were going to call it Live from Las Vegas. I'm going to call it Vegas Today. So we're going to do about a 20-minute spot every day. It's called Vegas Today.
We'll get back with you on the official naming convention.
Yeah.
Well, since I control
Jonathan's
most
just
of the
making
editing,
up all the rules here and all the times and forcing us into this schedule and routine.
Well, we have a routine here at the Fabulous TexVegas podcast. Jeff comes and records a podcast, but cares to do nothing more than that.
All the equipment is here.
And before we add to the video element, Chelsea would edit the audio down, and then Jonathan would put together everything else. So the last one, which, by the way, thanks for tuning in, I think 6 of those views were because my internet was really, really sucking one night. But we got some great feedback on our last video, our first video podcast, I should say. So thank you for tuning in. But Chelsea came in at the last minute and saved the audio portion of it as we were lining up the audio and the video.
That's my style.
And since I do everything else, we're going to call it what I want to call it. So that's just how it goes.
Wow.
It's like Jeff doesn't get a say. He's that loser who's never stayed at the Aria.
I appreciate credit where credit was due.
But nobody else was coming up with a name. Vegas Today, Live from Las Vegas. Jeff lost a crap ton of money, so we want to bitch about it on the internet. Whatever you want to call it, that's what's going to happen. It's going to happen at 4 Pacific.
That doesn't happen very often, my friend.
So, tune in. and leave questions, or we'll try to answer questions. We'll tell you what's going on, how the day went, what we did, things to look forward to on the upcoming vlog series, which is going to come out of this trip. And we really can't wait to start tearing into that 7-part vlog. It's gonna be it's kind of like the beginning of a book, like 7 days. That we've been there for 7 days, but it's gonna take like 7 weeks or more to actually get through the vlogs. So
Wow.
Take the journey with us. It's going to be fun. But we wanted to come and talk about some of the things we plan to do, some of the things we're looking forward to. You can in our first video vlog, we talked about some of the things we've done that we would probably going to do again, like take a trip to Madame Tussauds and go through the wax museum.
Yeah, I looked it up, and it does look different. They've definitely added some things, changed up some things, so I think it would be worth going back through it, for sure. I mean, apparently there's a wrecking ball that you can ride next to the Miley Cyrus wrecking ball wax figure.
Look, all I'm saying is when she gets naked and rides a wrecking ball and licks a hammer, it's art. When I do it, I'm drunk in public and I have to leave the Home Depot.
So we're going to do that. Not the whole Home Depot part, but Madame Tussauds. Since we've spoken to you, as we regain composure, we have to talk about the reason why we changed our reservation at the last minute. So, if you haven't by now heard, this may be news if you're tuning into this, we were originally scheduled to stay at the Luxor from Tuesday the 8th through the end of our trip. And we made the sudden change and decided to go stay at the Mirage instead. Here's the impetus for that. Chelsea and I were sitting watching there's a live, like a webcam in Las Vegas, and I'm trying to think about this.
It's like above M&M World or
somewhere in that vicinity.
Right above Marshall's.
Yeah, and so it shows you the New York, Hershey World side. It'll pan out to the Aria sign.
Yeah.
And then it'll turn and it'll pan all the way out to Mandalay, Luxor, and Excalibur. If you've never been, or if you've been and you stayed at one of those properties, you know that there is a built tram system that runs from Excalibur to Mandalay Bay. And then at Mandalay, you can jump off and get into another tram that runs from Mandalay to the Luxor.
Yeah. And then from the Luxor
back to Excalibur. Ever since the beginning of the pandemic and the shutdown, we heard that tram was shut down, not operational.
Yeah.
And it was understandable when the casinos were closed and Vegas was locked down, like most of the United States. We'll talk about virus impacts and stuff like that here as we go along. We were watching the live cam, and I told Chelsea, I said, hey, like all the properties are open because we have reservations, but it doesn't look like that tram is running from Mandalay to Excalibur to Luxor and vice versa. So it looks like that tram is stopped. And she's like, well, let me look it up. And when she looked it up, it said closed.
Yeah, they said hours of operation closed. It didn't even give hours of operation.
Yeah, so our decision to change was a logistical one. Because without that tram, the primary mode of transportation will be taxi and Uber, or walking a long way to get from the Luxor over to the MGM Grand and the monorail terminal. And so we just thought about it. We weren't willing to go to the extra cost of the additional Ubers and taxis. and we really weren't down for that walk.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we
MGM Grand.
love about Vegas is that you can get out, you can walk, you can,
Yeah.
but you cover easily 15 to 20,000 steps a day, and that's just basic. Hey, we're hanging out in Vegas, walking. So when you're actually wanting to go from place to place and do thing to thing, I mean, it can get really taxing, really fast, and so. While I love the walking, I think we also have to pace ourselves knowing we're going to be there for 7 days, and the latter part of the trip is at the Luxor.
Yeah, we'll still do plenty of walking.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, you'll do that wherever you stay.
Of
You'll
course,
do a
yeah.
lot of walking within the place you're staying. But we just figured that the Mirage was a little bit more centrally located along the Strip, whereas the Luxor is down on the south end of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just further away. The Mirage is a little closer to everything.
Well,
so
on a
especially what we enjoy to do.
format,
Yes.
when we stayed at the Luxor, with the tram operational, it helps because the tram gets you to Excalibur, and then from there you could walk across or
you're at
go
the-
into New York, and walk across.
Yeah, because you're at that cross street. You're at the corner.
And that drops
then
you
you can
off
go wherever you
at
want from
MGM
there.
Grand, and at MGM Grand there is a monorail station that will pick you up. That's actually like one of the either beginning or ending stops on the monorail, and so it is walking, but you're walking less steps than you would have to say walking from the Luxor all the way to Excalibur, which there's a way you can walk, but it's long. And if you drop yourself off at the New York at the Excalibur, and you got to walk all the way back to the Luxor to get back to your hotel, it's not worth it. You're going to tax yourself. Yeah. When we did the honeymoon 7-day trip, by day 5, we were cursing ourselves because our legs were just shot.
Well, and that was coming off a wedding where we were dancing and just, I mean, it was...
Well, y'all had put in a lot of work for that.
Yeah, exactly. You're up on your feet for
Vegas.
hours just decorating and everything. It was
so,
wow.
The decision was not because the Luxor in particular. I mean, it's not like we just didn't want to stay there.
Yeah.
It just made more sense in the current situation to head over to the Mirage.
To bring a little levity to the situation, I have to talk about this because this did factor into the conversation.
This was actually the primary factor.
It was a factor. And upstairs at the Luxor, at the Nathan's hot dog stand, they like do magic with frozen breakfast sausages.
Magic. They are the most delicious breakfast sausages I have ever eaten in my entire life.
Like, they're frozen and they just run them through a deep fryer.
Well, I don't know what they do, but magic is the right word. Those sausages taste like magic.
So this was actually a 20-minute discussion about breakfast sausages.
Not just on my part. Jeff loves these sausages too, okay?
Look, when it comes to the sausages, right, I got to tell you a couple things. When I'm at the Luxor, I am plagued by horrific nightmares. There's something about that pyramid that just...
Well, they claim it's cursed. That's another podcast, but they claim it's cursed. And
there may be something to it.
I suffer from nightmares too.
There may be something to this because we have nightmares at the Luxor.
Every time we go.
But I was willing... happily to endure those nightmares for these breakfast sausages.
Exactly. See? They're that good. Maybe the breakfast sausages were giving us the nightmares.
So, to make a long story short, there's going to be an Uber charged.
Yes, there will
at
be.
least one more. At
least one morning
two.
To go to the Luxor. And while they eat breakfast sausages, I'm going to go see if Gino is down on the floor dealing cards, and that's where I'm going to spend my time.
And it's not because Jonathan doesn't like the breakfast sausages, it's because he's just not a breakfast person. So
I'm typically not either, but those breakfast sausages had some
they're
kind
that
of hold on me,
good.
man.
They're so good.
We're going to drop a picture of sizzling breakfast sausage right here, just to emphasize the point of how much that was almost a determining factor in what we did.
We're going to have to do a podcast about the Luxor and the haunted thing and the nightmares, because I remember when I came down and I said, Man, I had like the worst nightmares the last 2 nights, and then you were like, "You're having nightmares too. I'm glad I'm not alone." And you and I just suffered the whole time.
I guess I'm the outlier party. I didn't have nightmares, but then again, their pillows sucked so bad I couldn't sleep.
But you didn't eat the sausages either.
Right. Okay. So, as far as the nightmares go, I don't know. I would wake up. I would feel like really shaken, but then I'd go into the bathroom to take my shower, and I would let the shower pressure wash all of those feelings off of me, because you do tend to get beaten up by the shower at the Luxor.
So
seriously, I don't think my car gets it that bad at Mr. Car Wash. But, sometimes that's what you need. Like, you really need that high
you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you can get what you need.
We're going to have to do a podcast on the Luxor because this is too funny.
What I want to do, though, right now is I want to give a shout-out to VIP services at the Mirage. Because we called, and we did our little, hey, can you do this here, do this here? Jeff is actually saving $4 on his, but in reference to Chelsea and I have to say thumbs up to the Mirage VIP services, because we had a specific room we were targeting that has somewhat of a soaker tub. If we were going to downgrade from a pyramid suite at Luxor with the really deep tub, we wanted to have an alternative as the train blows.
Can't predict the timing of the train.
You sure can't, But anyway, they hooked us up into the Resort Tower King rooms. And we're going to do a review. We actually watched a really unique perspective review from Nikki Furmish.
Yeah,
to help us kind of decide.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, shout out to Nikki Furmish. Check his vlogs out; they're really good. His room review of the Mirage was excellent, and it really was the determining factor in that. Hi, Luxor the cat.
He's making his debut.
So, shout out to VIP at Mirage, Nikki Furmish for the review, and we're set. So we're actually going to do our version of the room review of the Resort Tower King at Mirage while we're there.
I'll add to your kudos. I've worked with some very unpleasant customer service folks from different walks of life, but I have never had a problematic experience with M-Life customer service. It didn't matter what property I was talking to specifically. They were always very nice, very helpful. I really enjoyed working with, and they actually do check on things for you. When they don't just clickety clack and oh no, we can't do that. No, they actually talk to people and make things happen for you. So.
Yeah, and I will say too that even the Luxor, we've always gotten great people on the phone, so helpful.
Yeah.
So with that, we've made some reservations, so we're going to actually be vlogging a couple of different restaurants while we're there.
Yeah, first big one. Other than Holstein's on Sunday, because I think we've got reservations.
We
Holstein's
do.
On
Holstein's on Sunday.
Yeah.
Monday night is going to be our first big night out. We're going to be at the Cosmo that night. We're going to get all nice dressed, and we're going to go and live it up. And we have reservations at
Lago.
At Bellagio.
So that's actually next. You can sit and eat dinner and watch the fountains.
Yes.
Go off, and that's going to be an awesome experience. We're going to try to get a lot of good video from there. But it's Lago by Julian Serrano, or some people would say Julian Serrano. I threw that Julian in there because.
But we decided, so we have this thing where we have at least one fancy night.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided to have two.
That because it's 7 days, we're going to have 2 big nights out.
So, Lago, we're going to talk about Lago and get some good footage from there.
Also, I think, we discussed it. I don't think we've really firmed that up yet, but on one of those nights, we're going to hit tables hard and heavy. We're gonna put some pretty good cash down on some craps blackjack, whatever.
Well,
And then on one of those nights, we're going to do a big group pool.
yes, the first annual Fabulous TexVegas podcast group pool, which will consist of the three of us.
And maybe in future years, any viewers...
If we build up, if you pass it along, you build up a viewer base, and you want to get in on the action, we'll let you know, and you can then via means of Venmo or whatever buy into the group pool, or even fly yourself out there and join us.
Yes, that would be so great.
So, but we're going to do the first annual.
We need to start up an annual Vegas
Fabulous,
Yeah,
Fabulous TexVegas podcast group pool. Don't know which night. But we're definitely going to vlog that, as long as we can record cameras in certain places of the casinos. So that is yet to be determined. We want to respect the properties and their rules and everything like that.
You do not want to run afoul of any of that. So always play up and up by the rules.
Mm-hmm. So then on Thursday night, we're actually going to be at the Mirage on Thursday night, and we're actually going to eat at Tom Coolhio's Heritage Steak at the Mirage, which we've walked by it many a time.
Many times. We have stayed there 4 times now, and we've never eaten there. We've eaten almost at every other restaurant in the Mirage except that one.
Let me, because it was my idea to look there, and here's why. Jeff and I were on the phone when we were supposed to be, well, we were working, but we weren't working hard, I guess. I don't know.
Wow.
Well, we were,
himself away on,
we were working hard, but we were on the phone talking.
We were on break.
You were on your smoke break.
Which, I don't smoke.
Right.
Hey, but the people who do get breaks, this is my point.
So we were actually.
It's on my 12th.
So, but no, this was
this
was when you were off getting your hair did. You got your hair did. Mm-hmm. It looks fantastic, by the way.
Not tonight though, because
not tonight,
I didn't do it. I threw the cap
but
on.
We're getting your hair done. Jeff and I were talking about restaurants, and we started looking it up. And there was a steakhouse called Prime, which is in the same area as Lago at Bellagio.
Bellagio on the fountains.
And we started looking at the menu. And my God, it was like brutal. Like if you got out of there at $450, that was a good night. Really expensive. And
so I think though the main determination why we didn't go with Prime wasn't the price, it was the fact that the menu didn't have a lot of selections on it that people with dietary restrictions can enjoy, basically. Mm-hmm. And I know Chelsea has some very important dietary restrictions we have to kind of accommodate for.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Prime was out. And so then we were looking at nicer steakhouses that, you make reservation for and things. And we got to the Heritage. And we walked by it a million times. And I was like, why didn't I think of this before? And we looked it up in the menus. It's a very robust menu. It's very friendly for dietary needs. Mm-hmm. And it's also a really, fancy, like, dark lighting steakhouse. Like... Smith & Wielisky's on the East Coast, or Vic and Anthony's here, more centrally located in Texas, or Perry's as well. Very nice, very well done steakhouse.
Well, I like where it's located too, because that atrium area is truly my happy place. So it's right off of the Mirage atrium.
So we're going to eat there. Now, past those things, there's places you don't have to make reservations for that I know we're all looking forward to. And I'll just say it. Chelsea's looking forward to Nacho Daddy.
Yes.
If you don't know where Nacho Daddy is, it's around the corner. Like if you're outside the Planet Hollywood.
I don't think we really know where Nacho Daddy is still, to be honest. It's very confusing.
Well, there's 2 locations.
There's a downtown one.
Downtown at the Fremont Street Experience.
Oh, around it. It's outside of it.
You're right. Just across the street from the entrance to the Fremont. Mm-hmm. and then one is at the Planet Hollywood, right?
But I remember how we walked around the Planet Hollywood Miracle Miles shop
Well,
forever,
see, I
and then we
blame-
finally figured out that we had to go outside and walk around to get to it. It was weird.
I blame Siri for that crap because Siri.
Yeah, like I had the GPS and I was following my phone walking,
Yeah.
and I'm like, it should be right here.
And it took us up to an
wasn't
exit
there.
door, and we went out the exit door, and we're like, it's just a street here. And it's like, was one of those doors that you can't walk back in.
Yeah.
And so we're like, well, let's walk around the corner, and we just ran into it.
Yeah.
Now we know if you come across the Planet Hollywood and go around the front, you get to it a lot easier.
I'm glad he knows this because I still really don't know.
Well, hopefully it'll be easier to find the Pizza Rock.
Pizza Rock.
Pizza Rock.
Right across from the downtown Grand, and that's, you just tell the Uber driver, drop me off right there.
But
Which I
it's
guess
just
we'll
like
hit that
3
one
blocks
up.
down from the actual Fremont Street. 2 or 3.
And I guess we'll hit that up when we're in that vicinity, hitting up the Circa.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do... Yeah, that's the other thing. We're going to go check out Circa. Circa is the brand new hotel resort in Las Vegas. It's the first new hotel in downtown Vegas in a number of years. It's kind of like the revitalization of downtown Vegas on Fremont. And Derek Stevens, the owner of the D, is the owner of Circa, and it looks like they've done a fantastic job. We can't wait to check it out.
It's a sight to see, that's for sure.
It's kind of like the casino feel that you want combined with old Vegas style. They have Vegas Vicky, who is the neon sign that used to stand next to Vegas Vic, who stands outside on Fremont, I believe still. It's classic. It's classy, but it's also adult only, 21 and older, and it's just...
It's also
like,
very futuristic.
It
so
is.
It's like classic but futuristic at the same time. So they can go many, many years before they have to consider renovating this thing.
If you're a sports betting fanatic, it's the largest sports book in Las Vegas now. That title used to be held by the Westgate. It is now the Circa. And Circa has the largest sports book in Las Vegas.
It's 3 stories.
Wow.
The
3
televisions are
stories.
3 stories tall.
Yeah, and it's a stadium type seating for the sports book as well.
And of course, Stadium Swim. I'm hoping we can get some video of Stadium Swim. There are a lot of reviews of Circuit going on right now. We may watch some of ourselves just to get a feel for it, but it doesn't look like they're prohibiting you from videoing and reviewing, so that's going to be fun. I'm absolutely excited to check it out. It's going to be the first new property we've ever stepped foot in.
Yeah, true.
And for our 10th trip to Vegas, very fitting.
And I think we were kind of looking at doing that on Wednesday when we're up there.
Hey, speaking of 10th trip to Vegas, today is our 10 years friend-versary on Facebook.
Yes, we met 10 years ago, became friends, started dating. We've been married for 8, but we started dating 10 years ago.
Friend-versary, apparently. Apparently we celebrate things like that these days.
Go figure. Thanks Facebook. But I knew all that. I remembered all that anyway. I didn't need Facebook. I need Facebook to tell me other people's birthdays, but I knew when we met.
It's true, though. I'm the worst at remembering birthdays. But anyway, we digress.
Yeah, I actually agree with you on that.
So, the Circa, downtown, the Fremont, the new screen is up in Fremont. We hadn't seen it yet. That'll be fun. Check out.
Yeah.
But Pizza Rock is, without a doubt, one of our new favorite places to go eat. Because of they respect the dietary restrictions, number one.
There are so many places in Vegas that do cater to the dairy-free. They have options. I literally eat the best in Las Vegas. When I come home, I feel like so deprived because it's so difficult to work around things.
Well, when we get back this time, she gonna be eating salads and I'm gonna be eating tuna, and we're gonna be running laps in this cul-de-sac. Because literally, we take advantage of the eating possibilities when we're in Las Vegas.
We do.
I can see you running in circles around your cul-de-sac.
Man, that's gonna be one circle, and it's gonna be more like
One circle? I did it. I ran my circle.
I ran my circle for the day. I ate protein. I did not have any carbs. We're good.
Oh, that's great.
But Pizza Rock has some of the best pizza I've ever had. Like, when the pepperoni curls up, you know that you're eating good pizza.
The pepperoni curls like the toes when it's really, really good.
There's also this cookie dough place. I can't remember what it's called in the Miracle Mile shops that I want to check out because they have some dairy-free cookie dough in there.
And, of course, we're going to take Jeff for the first time to the Tipsy Robot. And we're going to show him how a robot can make him a perfect... What was it we ordered?
We ordered a Mai Tai.
A Mai Tai. The perfect Mai Tai.
Was the best drink I have ever had. And we shared it. Mm-hmm. And we just walked to the Miracle Mile shop, sipped on it, took our time. But that was the best drink. Most expensive drink. Like, we shared it. So, I mean, but if we were to have both purchased
it was because we bought the tumbler.
That's true. We bought the souvenir.
I was going to say, that doesn't make sense that it should be so expensive when they're not having to pay, like, human wages.
Well, so we did buy, like, the Yeti type cup.
Okay.
It is the one, we bought 2 of them that trip. I bought a Fat Tuesdays Yeti, and we bought the Tipsy Robot Yeti. And the Fat Tuesdays Yeti is crap. It starts chipping. I mean, if you look at it, the paint's coming off. Go look at the Tipsy Robot one.
Yeah.
It's still in perfect condition.
Well, and also, like, it makes you a drink in a plastic cup, right? But then she puts it in your souvenir cup and then tops it off.
And we'll top it off with an extra shot or more juice or whatever.
And so you get a little bit more drink purchasing it that way, but even still, it's somewhat expensive. I mean, but I feel like all drinks in Vegas are expensive.
It's an experience. You're not paying for the drink, you're paying for the experience.
Yeah,
and you hope the drink doesn't suck.
Because even the drinks you get on the floor, the cocktails on the floor of a casino, you're paying for it.
Yeah.
Even though they're free.
And here's a little Vegas fun fact that we learned from watching the We Work to Visit Vegas vlogs recently. Apparently at the Cosmo, if you're playing on a machine and you order a Cosmopolitan from the cocktail waitress, they bring you the same size Cosmopolitan that you can get at the Chandelier bar for like $20.
18.
Or $18.
But still.
You get it for tipping a cocktail waitress. I mean, we're going to try that. We're going to try that. I want to try the Cosmopolitan at the Cosmo.
We're going to see if that's myth or fact.
Yes, so that's going to be, that'll be a good segment on the vlog. Myth or fact.
I mean, it's from a very trusted source here.
It's a very trusted source, but
we'll see how it works. Do you have to, like, tip in advance before they'll do that, or
who knows? We're going to find out.
So, well, they said that they tip, like, the first time they come around, they'll tip them pretty good, like,
yeah, because you want them to keep coming
$15 or whatever, and that helps them.
And that's just good karma, period. Like, when you're out there, if you're having a good day on the tables or on a slot machine or whatever, and you're up, pay a little bit of it forward. Tip either the dealers at the table or the cocktail waitresses bringing you. Tip them. Tip them good, too. They'll remember you.
Well, and that was something we learned at the Luxor. I learned
Except the cocktail waitress at the piano bar at the garage. Tip her $70 and you never see her again.
You tipped her too much. I think there's, like, a scale. Like, this guy is creeper. I'm not going back, Like, but I will say that is something else that I'm really looking forward to this trip. And that is being able to tip. These people have been out of work. They rely on their tips to make money. It is Christmas, and I am really looking forward to just being able to go in there and bless people who are just trying to work and have a good holiday season.
Well, and that brings us to the elephant in the world right now, and that is the global pandemic, the COVID-19, and the effects it's had on the economy everywhere, but especially in Las Vegas, because that's a tourism-driven economy. And to have to shut it down for months at a time, it was really hurt the people that work, the cocktail waitresses, the dealers, the hospitality, your front desk people, your VIP services. They were either furloughed or all of the restaurants, things like that. They really have hurt, and I understand where we are as a world right now. That this thing is still kind of out there and it's lingering, and it flares up and it goes down, and it flares up and it goes down. So, just as a rule, we've all talked about it, and whether you agree or disagree with mandates in different places, we're going to wear masks most of the time. Why? Well, it's protecting you, and it's protecting someone else.
Yeah.
And that someone else may be somebody you love and care about dearly.
Yeah.
So as much as we could sit here in this cocoon and stay down for the rest of the year, we're actually going to go and we're going to try to help. We're going to do our part, and we're going to do what we know how to do best. And let's go have a good time. Do I expect it to be like Vegas is normal? No. I'm going to be real. I think this is going to be a very... the first day or two may be a very shock to our system because we're so used to a certain expectation of what Vegas is and the excitement that it brings out of you. Having said that, I expect it to be a lot different. But somebody had to help us, and somebody had to step up and say, for your safety, you can do X. Well, we have to step up now and say, well, these people need us, not just us, but everybody that travels there.
Well, we always tip good because we know, that they rely on that. But I'm just looking forward to stepping it up a notch because something that Jeff always says, they're there to make sure I can have a good time. And we have gone all year not being able to go on vacation. We are going to be able to go. We're excited about getting to do this. They are putting themselves at risk to a degree by working, so that we can all have a good time. And so I'm just really looking forward to being able to bless people and tip well and say, hey, Merry Christmas, be blessed.
It's good karma.
Yeah.
It's very good karma. And shout out to the resorts because they have amenities kits available. If you don't have a proper fitting mask or whatnot, they give you that. I know the Cosmo. I don't know about the Mirage.
I think the Cosmo and the Bellagio do. I'm not sure about the Mirage.
So kudos to those resorts who are doing it. We're looking forward to. We'll break down that for you so you can see what you get when you stay, and we're just looking forward to giving back. Vegas is a place that's near and dear to our heart, and while Vegas can't come to Texas and give us a good time, we go there, and we're going to be able to help them, and that means a lot. And while we're gonna be okay as a society and as a world, and I think it's going to get better. And I think we've seen the worst of it pass, but I think we're still kind of fighting it back and forth. I think 21 is going to be a better year, but you can't get started towards 21 unless you have a good end to 20. And so we want to bring some Texas hospitality to these folks who are working hard in Las Vegas. So that's really our heart, and that's what we're going to try to do. And yes, we're running a little bit longer on this one, but I think it was well worth it to get that statement out.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
One other thing before we wrap this thing up, and we're going to see how it goes, but because we've changed our reservations, this is a little funny point Jeff brought up, and it's great to kind of switch to end the show with this as a point of levity. Know that we are excited to go. What I am not excited about is the fact that Jeff brought this up the other day. Because we have changed our reservation and we're at the Mirage, that means we're right across the street from that damn wheel.
The big wheel at Casino Royale. We will do a vlog of it because we have talked about it. We have highlighted it via picture.
I told Jeff, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm all about vlogging, but I'm not doing it. And he's like,
You're doing it.
He's like, but it'll be such great content. And I'm like, well, damn. I was like, all right.
The big wheel is the windmill that you have to tilt that, Don Quixote.
Look, All I'm saying is I promise you $20. I'm not making any guarantees. $20 for good content. That's it. Anything after that is not happening because that wheel is like a very cruel mistress.
Anything after $20 is net loss.
The wheel taketh, and then the wheel taketh some more. It don't give a whole lot. So I'm just preparing you. Thank you to Jeff for bringing up that fact. And I'll have to earmark $20.
I'm just curious, like, to see what new string of curse words you come up with when you're playing.
So we're going to go down the line. One thing you're looking forward to. One thing you think is going to be different. And we'll start with you at the end there, honey. One thing you're looking forward to doing and one thing you think is going to be completely different about this trip.
Well, I'm always looking forward to doing a lot, but I have to say that probably the balcony at the Cosmo and the bathtub at the Cosmo and just the Cosmo in general. I'm excited because we've wanted to do that for a long time. And we've watched so many vlogs recently of people who have done it. And I'm excited to be able to walk out there and see the fountains and all of that for a couple days. And so that's what I'm most looking forward to. And then what do I think is going to be different? I think the crowd level for me is really going to be different. I don't like crowds of people. So on one hand, I'm like, oh, I think this is going to be fantastic, right? Because I'm always saying the same thing about Houston. Houston's way too crowded. Everybody go find somewhere else to live, right?
Right.
But if that happens, when that happens, you lose so much of what you have, the populace that you have. Like, for example, a lot of the restaurants in Vegas are closed during the week because they can't afford to open. They're not making enough money. So you lose a lot of what you have when you lose people. And so I think what will be the most different for me is going to be the fact that the crowds are low and a lot of places will be closed and it'll be a little odd, kind of like walking through a carnival at night when there's nobody there, like eerie kind of feeling.
So basically, Fort Bend County Fair.
So, Jeff, one thing you're looking forward to, one thing you think is going to be different.
I'm looking forward to our night out at the Lago and gaming at the Bellagio and the Cosmo because I'm going to look good. One thing I think is going to be very different is the nature of the gaming. Now that they're limiting the amount of people at particular tables, you're going to have maybe 3 people at a blackjack table. Some places will even have the dividers between you.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be limited numbers on the craps tables, which means we're probably not going to get that like on fire feel that a hot craps table gets when you've got that crowd of people around it and everybody's just in on the action.
Right.
So it might seem a little colder. It might seem a little more like the kind of gambling I don't like doing, but where it's quiet and
Yeah.
But it's a price we have to pay for the times being what they are.
Right. All right. Looking forward to the most.
Nobody asked you.
Well, forget you. I'm driving this ship right now, so I'm gonna say what I want to say.
Captain.
He's the boss of this podcast, remember?
See, I'm not the boss of anything. I just press the buttons. I'm looking forward to getting away. I'm looking forward to being in Las Vegas and not here in Texas for about 7 days. We all work stressful jobs. We've all been forced to adapt to a new working environment. So I think getting away is a good thing. Mm-hmm. One thing that's going to be very, very different is the lack of buffets being open. I do have to say, because it's an easy choice. If you can't think about where to go eat, you're like, well, let's just go to that buffet. And then you have like a discount or something and you just go. And you don't think about it. It's just commonplace when you're in Las Vegas. You try to hit up as many buffets as you can.
This is definitely...
All right, she knows it's coming. I'll just say it. It's an important thing you have to think about because sometimes Mija needs to eat.
I'm like, why is he looking at me like that? us to try new restaurants, but I'm actually kind of excited about that.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I actually think we could turn that into a positive.
I think you can spin a lot of things in the positive. It's just, to me, it's going to be different. It's going to be way different.
That's true. He didn't say necessarily it was going to be bad, just different.
Yeah.
No, I think you have to have a positive attitude. Given the situation that we're in with COVID-19 and everything going on in the world, I think you have to try to keep some positivity. Is it going to be the way you think it's going to be? No, it's going to be a little bit different. But different is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
And with that, I think that's a good place to just go ahead and put the train back on the tracks and get out of here. Because if we keep talking, Jeff's going to throw it off the rails again.
That's what I do.
It's what he does. He is a disturber. That's what he does. But when we see you again, we'll be live in Las Vegas at 4 Pacific, 6 Central, 7 Eastern. I don't know what it is in any other time zone, but
he says we're probably going to blow that schedule.
We are going to blow that schedule.
If I don't have video evidence of it, then we will forget about it and never do it. So this is a video mark.